Superman number 11, written and art by Dan Jurgens. Last issue we left off with a whole different thing, but there is the one subplot of a Russian sub went down and Superman went to fix it. This issue picks up with the Russians. He just goes to the Russian place and he's trying to figure out, okay, something went crazy wrong here because all of these scientists are dead. So what could it be? And he comes across a chamber that doesn't look like it was man-made and something broke out of it. And he goes to analyze the footage of what happened. And basically the scientists on the footage are like, good thing Superman saved our sub but didn't look inside this container thing we got. Well, let's go ahead and open it up. Oh my God, there's something inside. And then the footage cuts out. And then he turns around to someone yelling freeze at him, which reminds him of earlier that night when someone also says freeze to him. He is on a double date with Lois and her date John Carroll and Lois's sister Lucy, who he stood up like 3 issues ago, and I didn't think we'd ever actually get back to this. Regardless, he's very prepped to not like John. Also, Lois said that Clark's going to be paying for the whole thing, and it's a very swanky restaurant, so he's a bit miffed about that. But he's prepared to not like John, but John's actually like a stand-up guy. And Lucy is very much hitting on him, and he's like, oh, well, you know, maybe we can make something happen here. But then his boss, Morgan Edge, shows up, and Lois basically just chastises him, being like, hey, nice job running that wrong Superman story. And he's like, hey, nice job not getting ratings. But then immediately all of their phones go off, and, you know, the Russian thing happened of all these scientists are dead. So everyone has to run out, and they leave Lucy with the bill. Har har. So the cover of this issue has a thing of secret of the suit revealed, which he goes up onto the roof. He's wearing just a Superman t-shirt. And then all it says here, and I'm going to quote the whole thing, is the Kryptonian biotech did its thing head to toe. Superman was ready to fly. And that's it. That's all you get. That's the secret of the suit. It just appears, which we already knew. I think that was in like Action. So whatever. Anyway, he's being held, like, there's a bunch of Russians aiming guns at him. They all shoot at him, and he melts their guns. And then he speaks to them in Russian, saying, hey, I'm not here. I didn't do this. I'm here to help. And then there's some, like, secret agent guy named Ivan who can speak English, and he's like, well, Superman, clearly you are here to fight the good fight. So we got something that allows us to fight you. And he's like, what are you talking about? It's like, well, we wanted our own Kryptonian, and so we found this portal to another dimension, and we just looked into it, seeing if we could get anything, and eventually we found that this pod came through it. So we scooped up that pod, and inside of it was something that even we couldn't control. So Superman's like, all right, cool, do you know where it went? And he's like, yeah, there's a nuclear reactor to the west, it's that way. And he's like, cool, bye. And I don't know if it's going to come up later, but apparently Ivan was like a double agent and he worked in the U.S. government. I'm bringing it up just in case. I doubt it's going to matter. So he heads towards this nuclear reactor town, and the entire town is just dead. Like, everything here has been killed. And he's looking over all the men, women, and children dead, and then something throws like a grenade at him, but it's very futuristic looking. And he's like, dear Lord, that actually managed to hurt me. What is this crazy technology? And it keeps on blasting him constantly. And long story short, it's a predator. Like, I have no better words for it. It is an alien with, like, dreadlocks and a mask and, like, 2 knives coming out as, like, claws. It is a predator. 200%. And it's attacking Superman. And it's actually doing some pretty hard damage. It's actually tearing through his suit, which, after he hits it hard enough with different things, Superman's like, wait a minute, I think he's controlling those weapons telepathically. And then, you know, it doesn't help Superman to know that. He still explodes. And the issue ends with the Predator coming up on a now seemingly unconscious Superman, knives drawn, ready to kill. Okay. Here's the thing. They named the girl from last issue, and I've already forgotten what it was in this issue. But regardless, this feels like the exact same thing. Like, it feels like we are literally just doing something that is just padding for whatever reason. Like I don't know what the goal of this story is here. If it's just a hey, Superman's fighting Predator, okay, I'm fine with that. But they're introducing this Lucy subplot. They're introducing these Russians. They named one of the Russian characters and gave him some actual backstory. But all it feels like is next issue, Superman's just going to finish fighting this thing, and then we're never going to see it again. And I don't have a problem with that, but I do wonder, like, what are we doing in the overarching here? Because this Lucy thing started last plot, so clearly he has some sort of an idea of, like, okay, we're going to slowly build up Lucy as this character that does something, but I genuinely can't tell what. I mean, I did gloss over that dinner pretty effectively, but honestly, it's just a lot of flirting. Like, that's really all it is. So I don't know. I genuinely, like, this issue isn't offensively bad. It's not good by any means. It's just here, it just feels like they need to have Superman as a title, but they have no idea what kind of story they can tell. So I got to give it like a 5. Also because the art, while not bad, is definitely not anything standout. Dan Jurgens, you know, he knows his craft, but he's not super amazing in this. So yeah, 5 for this, and hopefully we figure out what we're doing soon.